leaves the field open to people who want to shout allegations without necessarily doing the careful investigation which should underpin work. I think, if you want to pin blame on my trade, journalism, because newspapers and television have stopped doing what we used to do. We have stopped doing investigations because they're expensive and because we don't have to. We as a trade. I still do them, but that's because I'm a dinosaur.
Now, when you do these now, you're funding it on your own.
Yeah, I will fund what I can, and at some point I will try and persuade either a network or a publisher to support the work. And sometimes they do, and most often they don't.
Right. And you think one of the reasons why that the major networks no longer fund this type of serious investigation is because now, they're owned by 6 corporations and it's just so much controlled from centralized?
No, in the UK it's different. The broadcast media over here used to be incredibly heavily regulated. Now, I'm personally a fan of regulation. I think regulation is what protects people. And it used to be that networks, to continue to be issued or allowed to have licenses to broadcast, had to promise to do a certain amount of serious work, be that in investigations or in arts films or religious programming or sport or anything. They had to say, we will promise to broadcast X number of hours of serious work. And successive governments over here have removed all of those requirements from the licenses. And so it is much easier and much cheaper for the networks to broadcast America's Next Top Model or cheap stuff, which rates highly, and the advertisers like it, but doesn't fulfill what I think of as what I believe to be our constitutional, in the UK, duty. We are the fourth estate. We are there to act as the watchdog on the other 3. That's the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. We used to have that, and once television stations stopped doing it, commercial television stations, the BBC stopped doing it because they didn't have to, and they were fighting for ratings. And newspapers were also fighting for ratings, although they weren't regulated, by removing the competition for serious kudos, which is the only thing you ever got for serious work on television. The newspapers said, why the hell should we bother? So no one does it. And the result is not just that the population becomes, frankly, so much less well-informed that they become stupid and docile, but that serious abuses of power do not get challenged.
Do you think there's any hope for us then?
No. No, I don't. I mean, we're having a debate in the UK, and except the UK is a very different beast to the US. We're having a debate here at the moment about the future of the BBC. Pretty much the BBC is the last hope in broadcasting terms for serious work. It gets a lot of things wrong, it does a lot of things badly, but it still occasionally does good work. In my field, if you like. The pressure is on to emasculate it, to reduce it to something along the lines of PBS, which, I think PBS is great, but it ain't the BBC. That's what's happening at the moment. And no one, although lots of actors and theatrical directors are standing up and saying, hands off the BBC, leave it, it's a great idea, it's a great institution. No one's saying to government, you need to be challenged. You need awkward, difficult, investigative journalists to challenge you. And that's what the BBC and indeed other commercial stations should be doing, in my view, and it's what we used to do. You know, the example, on occasions I get asked to talk to students, journalism students. It's rare that they now ask me to do that, but the example I give is, again, a British example. We had two huge miscarriages of justice cases over here in the 70s and 80s. One was, again, some of your listeners may be familiar with this, the Birmingham Six and the Guildford Four. And these were 6 and 4 Irish men who were wrongly convicted of carrying out terrorist explosions. And they rotted in jail because the evidence which had put them there was rigged and wrong. And the only reason those 10 men ever saw the light of day again was because my colleagues in two of the stations up here spent 2 or 3 years each investigating, doing the careful, forensic, quiet, investigative work, which showed that these men were innocent, and eventually they were released. No one is doing that now.
And you don't see any hope of, yeah.
No, I think you'd have to have... you'd have to have... it's like turkeys voting for Christmas. You'd have to have politicians who say, do you know what, we really want a press and a media that challenges us and exposes our misdeeds. Why would they?
You're absolutely right, but you're kind of leaving us on a sad note here. At the end of this.
Yeah, I ain't Mr. Chuckles.
What was that?
I'm not Mr. Chuckles here.
I know.
I know.
So, well, I want to thank you for coming on. We're down to the last couple of minutes. What do you want to leave us with? How can people find you?
Our website, my company's website is here, and there are contact details on it. We're www.interestingfilms.co.uk. You can view some of the films we've made on there. I've got a new website coming up, which will hopefully have many more of the films and all of the books, or excerpts from the books that I've written. Not to leave it on too grim a note. Yeah. There are still people doing this work. There are still people who are willing to put the hard work in, who say it is our job to dig, to investigate, and to hold power to account. Most famously, Glenn Greenwald and Edward Snowden in your neck of the woods are doing that. And others, there are people still doing this. What is sadly true is that there are very, very, very much fewer. There are fewer of us doing that.
Well, Mr. Tate, thank you so much for coming on my show. I really appreciate it. And
you're welcome.
I really respect everything you've said today so much. And you know what? I got to say, as much as it is kind of depressing, it's encouraging to me to see someone devote their life to the truth and getting the truth out there and working so hard. And to see it, at this stage of your career that you're still just fighting with every bone in your body and speaking out. And thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Good luck with everything you do.
Thank you, sir. And I'll send you that link to I'm going to send you a copy of the scanned copy of that police report I was telling you about, and a link to your own interview that you did 30 years ago.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, boy. There we had Tim Tate, fascinating man, fascinating interview, incredible work, body of work that I'm just so impressed with here. You have no idea. All the links to his books, The Yorkshire Ripper, The Secret Murders, Hitler's Forgotten Children. A couple we didn't discuss was Slave Girl, which is the true story of a British woman sex trafficked to Amsterdam Girls with Balls, which uncovered the secret history of women's football. All this different work that he's done, and all his videos on his website there. What's it called? interestingfilms.co.uk. And I have a link to that, too. I'll have that up on the Opperman Report blog. Coming up, I'm doing another interview later on today with a huge guest, so I'm going to rest up and get this out onto the member section. And you'll be hearing more from us on Friday night live, as usual. Don't have a guest this Friday, but I'm working on it. And I'll see you then. Bye.
The days are getting shorter, and you can feel it in the air. Yes, it's that time of year. Pumpkin is finally back at Dunkin'. It's the cozy you've been craving all summer long, now in your cup at Dunkin'. Pick up all of your pumpkin favorites, like the signature pumpkin spice iced latte, or a pumpkin iced coffee, and bakery items like pumpkin donuts and muffins. Sip into something comfortable to celebrate the start of cozy season. Use the Dunkin' app for contactless ordering. America runs on Dunkin'.
Moving means welcome to the Frontier Fiber neighborhood. With our high-speed Frontier 500 meg fiber optic internet, share video tours of your new place with upload speeds up to 25 times faster than cable. Just $39.99 a month plus taxes and fees, and only $10 per month Wi-Fi router service fee. Visit frontier.com/fiber for upload speed comparison and full offer details. Frontier, don't go it alone. Limited time offer. Max speeds or wired speeds. Wi-Fi speeds may vary. Activation, internet infrastructure surcharges, taxes, and other fees are subject to change. Frontier terms and conditions apply.